Hi, in this episode of Toys Back Zen, we're going to be taking a look at this boxed Terminator 2 Bioflesh Regenerator playset. This is really cool. I saw this at a flea market probably about 2 months ago. The guy had it in his little toy area probably for over a year. But I noticed it and I asked him how much he wanted for it, and he wanted $75. And I almost bought it, but I just spent all my money at a different vendor, and I told him that the next time I come I would probably buy it. 2 months later I went back to the flea market and he still had it. And I was willing to pay the price, but then I asked him again, how much do you want for the Terminator 2 Bioflesh Regenerator? And he told me $45. Without even opening it up, I purchased it. While I was there, I did take a look inside. It has the manual, the instructions, everything that I think I saw in the box, all the weapons, and we're going to take a look at the box and see what is supposed to be in it. Then we're going to open it up and take a look and make sure that it's complete, and we're even going to try it out. So on the box we have mold and destroy your own Terminator. The Bioflesh Regenerator was created in the year 2030. This awesome unit is used to completely cover the metal skeleton of the Terminator with real skin to make him totally undetectable to humans. Molds 10 figures. Now it shows here that it does have the Bioflesh Regenerator, and I opened these up. It has both of them in there, and it's like a powder. So you must have to add water to make almost like a epoxy of some sort or some kind of gelatin. It does come with 2 figures in there, and it says here, based on Terminator 2 Judgment Day 1991, Carolco Pictures, all rights reserved. That's the same video company that I think did the Rambo figures, and we looked at that on those Rambo figures that I got from the toy show recently. Now this says 1991, but down here it says this was 1992, so I think this was made in 1992 by Kenner. It says here it comes with 6 battle weapons, and skin actually comes off in battles. Pretty much the top and the bottom are exactly the same. So we'll take a look at that. It's upside down. Now this box is not in the greatest condition, but it's pretty good. You've got the proof of purchase here, and same things on the side. Tear him apart in battle, create your own Terminator. It shows that here where you can put him in the mold and put in the stuff, and apparently it does all that. Now there is some French on this too, so if we turn it around you can see that the has the English and French here, but if we turn it around, this is the front, and I think this is the back, where it also shows a big picture of the process of making his skin. It says here, ages 4 and up, but also says caution, not recommended for children who still put objects in their mouths, contains small parts. As I think there was a price tag underneath that. It looks like a 9, but I can't tell what the price was. We're going to take this apart and see what's inside. So here's most of the contents. I'll show the rest here in a second, but it did have a whammy bar in there for a guitar. So I'm a guitar player, so that's a bonus. So I'll put that off to the side. And we do have the 2 containers. You can see this still has the powder inside, and you can see this container here still has the sticker with the powder inside. It's completely full, and you can see all that artwork on that. High voltage. He's gonna get created excess bioflesh. Alright, so we have that, and we have all of the things you need to fill the mold with the bioflesh. This stuff here, here's the cap for that. You have the mold here. That's really cool. You've got the 2 figures. The 2 figures are on stands, so that's neat. They must, I didn't see the stands on the package, but they must come with the stands. You've got the factory, and you have, this is just a placemat that you can put down so that when you get the figure out of making the bioflesh, it doesn't get all over the place, because it's probably like a slimy kind of stuff. I also believe that they meant this playset to be used 360 degrees, because they have a lot of details on the back of this playset, as well as sticker applications too. I really like that idea that they would utilize the whole playset instead of the back of it just being hollow or flat. And then inside this bag you've got the knife that it says it comes with. You have the belt that goes over his chest with the bullets. And we have some weapons here. We have a claw of some sort. We have a wrench. Another claw or grabber. We have some kind of machine gun, Uzi kind of thing. Have a knife here. And whatever this is, I'm not sure yet. Looks like some kind of exhaust pipe. Maybe it's for the factory itself. And we'll take a look at that here in a second. We also have the instructions. It says apply it label to either can, starting at the center of the label and working to each end. It's already been done. Open mold and remove excess skin with trim knife. Carefully remove the figure, pulling it out by the exposed endoskeleton toes. And it has that in French on the other side too. There are more instructions on how to put the stickers on, which they've already been applied by somebody else, and how to put the playset together, how to mix the bioflesh, and how to do the play feature. Also shows on the other side more of it, and we can take a look at that because we're going to do this. I'm actually going to make the bioflesh. We still have it here. Hopefully this stuff still works. So give me a second. I'll put this thing together and we'll make ourselves a Terminator with bioflesh. So get everything together here, and the first thing we have to do, step 1 says to place the plastic cap on the round cylinder and then slide the black plate with the hole onto the square guide. Make sure the hole in the cylinder is covered and the arrow is pointing up. So it's covered, it's pointing up. Step 3, place playset on playmat, place cylinder onto base as shown, and rotate the black plate to the front of the base. Place endoskeleton figure in the mold with the right hand around pin. Close mold and set inside. So here's the mold here. It's pretty cool. Open it up. Let's put the black guy in there. Now these guys do not have any articulation whatsoever, so that's alright. So we place that in there, put his hand on that little peg there, and we close it up. Make sure it's tight. We don't want to have any goop coming out. Next, we put the powder in here, and there's a little line on the side of the cylinder that tells us how much we need. It's kind of like flour. That's pretty much to the line. I'm going to put a little bit more in. And then we have our water here. You can see that it's filled to the line there on the cylinder, the other cylinder. There's a pour spout, so you just pour that in. Next, you use the knife that they give you to stir that up really good. Now, it tells you to use cold water instead of hot water or warm water, because the warm water will make the powder mixture set quicker. So you use the cold water. And then you put the mold in like this. And as you do that, it should push that black piece down. You can see that it's starting to fill. You take your plunger here and you fill that up. Then it says let it sit for 3 to 6 minutes, but I'm going to let it sit a lot longer than that because it's really goopy, and I've got lots here, so I can use this as my control. I want that to set really good so that when I pull it out of the mold, it's not runny. I'm going to let that sit for quite a long time. I know this stuff is old, so it may not work, but we'll try it out. And if it doesn't work, we'll try it the second time. I think that was too much water, so I think I might put less water in it the second time, but we'll see how that works. So while that's setting up, I just wanted to say that I think this is a really cool playset. Even if you don't use the BioFlesh Regenerator here, I think it's a really cool toy, and it's going to be a great display piece. I have a lot of Terminator figures, and I like to have all my toy lines with some kind of playset or vehicle just to make the shelf look cool instead of just having a whole bunch of figures standing side by side. I find that the playset makes it look a little bit more interesting to look at, and maybe even, you know, set up the diorama, set it up as a diorama of some sort. And the cool thing about this, you've got your wrench, you can like fix your Terminator. You've got a gun when he's ready to go, and this guy here, he doesn't need the flesh, he can hold that now. Unfortunately, he can't lift his hand up, but we have other Terminator figures that we could use with these accessories. Are you John Connor? Run! Run, John. So these are some of my favorite Terminator figures from this line. It's Kenner, and unlike the ones that come with this playset that do not articulate, of course we've got these ones that do. They've got the rubber bands here, which are really cool. They flex when you turn him. His arms and his elbows move, and his head doesn't move, but and most of these figures, their heads don't actually move because of all the play features they have. We also have John Connor. He's got some gripping hands because he's supposed to come with a motorcycle. I don't have a motorcycle that he comes with. It comes with a red one, I think, but I do have this one, and I usually use this one here it's a Suzuki, and I use this on display, sit him on there. So I've waited quite a long time for this stuff to set, and it doesn't look like it's going to set. It seems like it's pretty liquidy. So we're going to open this up and see what we get here. So let me move these guys out of the way. So we look over here, it's spilled, and you can see it's still a liquidy kind of a a gritty liquid. So I'm going to pull this out and see what we get here. Yeah, it's just draining out really bad. So that didn't work. I'm going to clean this up, and we're going to try this again. This time I'm not going to put the recommended amount that the instructions tell me. I'm going to put a lot less water in this. So let me clean this up and we'll try it again. So this time I put a little bit more powder in the container than I did before, and then you can see where the line is there for the water. I'm putting a little bit less water.
This is the future. Evolution.
That's a little bit better, but not quite enough. So obviously you need more powder, and I think a little bit more water, and it will probably work really well. So I'm going to let that sit a little bit. I've let this sit overnight. This is my second mold, and I just wanted to see what this stuff was like when it was completely like dry or whatever. And it's like a gel, it's like a jelly or whatever, but it doesn't stick to the body. It just doesn't work. And well, mine isn't working, and I'm assuming that it's possibly because this stuff is just old and it doesn't work like it's supposed to. I don't know how to describe it. It just feels like wet sand, really, and it really doesn't work. I'm not going to do this again. I was going to do it a third time, but this didn't have, I don't think, enough water in it, and because it was really hard to extrude into the mold, probably because it just didn't have enough water in it. And then when there's too much water, it just runs out through the cracks in the side, and so there's no real way to get this stuff to work. It is what it is, and I wasn't planning on buying this to do this anyway. I just wanted to see for myself how this playset worked and how this bioflesh looked like when it was on the figure. I'm sure this kind of thing, when you were a kid, your parents hated it unless they enjoyed something like this. And it's just messy. It goes all over the place. I'm sure kids had a hard time making it work. And I'm sure it worked better when it was actually new back in 1992. And if you wait a couple days, what you get is, I had this closed so it couldn't dry out completely, but what you get is this, still this pasty, not as wet as it was because it's starting to dry out. It just feels like wet sand. And if you let it sit long enough, you end up getting well, looks like dry sand. And now that all the water is out of it, it becomes a powder again. And now I don't know if its properties are still the same, but I guess you could just put it back in with the powder. It does look a little different if you look at that. Some of that powder still could be a little moist, and that's why it's a darker pink. So I'm going to leave that out overnight and see if that becomes the same color as the original powder. And yeah, maybe we could reuse it. In conclusion, I'm going to say that this is a really cool playset. It's a really good idea. It just doesn't work that well. I think it's a messy playset. And for kids, well, messy is fun, right? But for me, I'm just going to display it as a play set and put my figures in it. I think it's going to look really, really good on the shelf. I love how you've got the mat here, and I'll probably just put one of these guys in here without the bio flesh and have that as part of the display. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this video, if you haven't subscribed already. If you have, I really appreciate your support, and I hope you enjoy the videos. I've got hundreds of videos now, I think, in my library, ranging from unboxing or even repair videos. I have tons of repair videos and custom videos, and I have some more coming up. I've got some right here on the floor that I've got some custom videos I'm doing. I got some reviews I'm about to do, and some other cool things. So thanks for watching. See you later.